Hey guys, how's it going? This is Max Finn with a paid traffic tip of the day. Today's tip is number 8, and I hope you're enjoying these because I'm enjoying doing them for you. So today's tip, I want to talk about manual bidding and understanding the difference in bids. So we've talked previously about custom conversions in your pixel and ad set learning and psychology and testing, the fundamental stuff to get running. Now I want to talk about one of the most important things when it comes to optimizing and scaling and testing. One of the most important variables is the bid. Because at the end of the day, the bid is kind of 1/3 of how Facebook determines who's going to win an auction, right? So you have your relevance score, which has now been broken out into 3 parts. You have your bid, and then you have your estimated action score, which is an internal metric that Facebook calculates on all users. So when you're thinking about, hey, am I going to beat this person, this other business for that ideal customer, bid is really important, right? And frankly, a lot of us just let it run on auto. Who's running auto bid right now, right? I've run auto bid a lot, and we still, for a lot of accounts, we might start with auto bid. However, when we're getting to conversion-based campaigns and we're trying to start selling, and we have a good idea of where our target CPA is, running manual bidding in your ad set becomes really, really important. And especially if you're running like affiliate offers and stuff where they basically told you, hey, you're going to pay this much per sale, you know what you can afford to pay per purchase. So it gives you a really good starting point for your bid. Now, if you're a brand new business, brand new offer, brand new account, you're running a new client, and you're really still feeling it out for where that average CPA is going to be, and you don't really know profit-wise where you need to be, hey, you start auto bid, you figure out where it's backing out at. But once you really figure that out, it's important to start taking more control of more variables. So let's dive in. This is actually an old ad account. I was just going through older ad accounts today and just looking at kind of, not super old, but in the last 6 months, looking at just past data and trends and stuff. So I'm already in here, so let's just jump in and I'll pull up an ad set because I don't really need to be in a live account to show you this. So let's go down to the bottom, which is optimization and delivery. This little box at the very bottom. This is where you're telling Facebook, hey, how do you want to optimize the delivery of my ads? 99.9% of the time, you're going to be using conversions as the optimization for ad delivery, right? Then you're selecting your conversion window. This is something that a lot of people ignore. They just kind of leave it as the default 7-day click or 1-day view. It's important though that as you scale, this is less important than like bid and has less impact and not as critical, but I still want to explain the difference here. Like if you're selling something that is super impulse buy and a vast majority of your sales happen within 1 day of clicking an ad, you should be using a 1-day click conversion window, because that's what you're telling Facebook essentially is to only pay attention to the conversion events that happen in that conversion window when you're optimizing the delivery of my ads. So if I'm running this and I want people to buy impulsively, right? I don't want those people that took 7 days to buy. If I'm still using 7-day click or 1-day view, Facebook's going to still use those 6-day purchases, 5-day purchases to determine the optimization for my delivery. So if a lot of purchases happen in 1 day and that's the type of purchase I want, I should be optimizing for that conversion window. On the other side of it, if you're doing a webinar or a high ticket or something that requires more time, more thinking, typically more touch points, you want to go 7-day clicks, 1-day view, or even just 7-day click. These are good things to test as well once you start getting to the optimization point. So let's talk about the bid, right? So this has changed over the years, this little blurb right here. Basically, if you click down show more control options, we have 3 bid types. We have target cost, which used to be average, your average bid essentially. Then we have bid cap, which used to be max bid. And now we have this new feature. I mean, it's been around since last fall. We've been testing it, called cost cap, but it's still new for a lot of people. And cost cap bidding is absolutely killing it. We love it. That's why Facebook makes it the default now, right? You notice that when I hid these, it was going off of cost control, cost cap. And so I can change this if I want. Now let me just go through each one of these and talk about the pros and the cons and why we like cost cap and why we're seeing the best results with cost cap bidding. So target cost. With target cost, you're telling Facebook, this is where I want you to average. And when all said and done, when this ad set is finished, I want the average CPA to be X, right? Now, because you're telling it you want it to be the average, that means Facebook is going to enter auctions that are plus or minus a short kind of 10, 20% plus or minus, depending on the auctions, bid from your target, from your average, right? So if it's a $30 average, Facebook may enter a $35 auction, it may enter a $25 auction, it may enter a $32, a $28, right? It's going to enter these different auctions and bid on these different buyers, and it's going to do it based on making the end average equal out to 30. Now, what this means is if there are buyers or leads or whatever your conversion objective is, if there are people that are in lower price auction, if there's like a $5 auction or a $10 auction, Facebook will not enter you into that auction because that is too far off of where you want it to be on average, and that'll throw it off, right? Conversely, it usually won't go super high. So it'll stay in that kind of tight window, that tight grouping around $30. Now, again, this is a solid if you're looking to spend a ton of money and you don't care about minor fluctuations, you care more about stability and consistency. Target cost can be a good option for you. This is probably out of all three bid types, the one we use least is target cost. Let's go into bid cap, which used to be max bid. Now with bid cap, you're telling Facebook that I do not want to and I will not spend more than X on a purchase, right? So you're telling Facebook, hey, if my bid cap is 30 and there's an ideal customer in a $32 or a $34 auction or a $31 auction, you are not going to enter that for me. So Facebook's going to start in the lowest priced auctions and work up as those auctions are exhausted. Because obviously there's only so many $4 auctions, $5 auctions, $6 auctions. If there were a lot of them, we'd all be getting super cheap purchases, right? Because there's more and more competition, there's less and less people down there. And so we got to keep going up and up and up until there's auctions to enter, right? And so with bid cap, it's going to start at the lowest and it's going to work its way up. So like I said, with average bid, with the target cost, remember, Facebook's not going to start lowest and work up. It's going to start around where you want it to end up at. So bid cap, you can pick up some low purchases, some low CPA purchases early on. The difference with bid cap is usually you won't fully utilize your budget because you're capping it. And so if there's only, let's say 20% of your spend can be spent because every other auction is over 30, Facebook's only going to spend 20% of your budget that day. And so you might get great results, but you might only spend $100 instead of $1,000. And so that's the math you need to do for your offer and your business is, do I care more about controlling costs and profits and less about volume? Then there's cost cap. Now the reason I like cost cap and the reason I recommend it to pretty much everybody is cost cap takes the best of both worlds, right? So it takes the best of target cost and the best of bid cap and removes the worst from each of those. So like bid cap, cost cap will start at the lowest and work up. So you will benefit from when you kind of launch a new cost cap campaign, new cost cap ad set, from getting low cost purchases early on because it's going to start in those low price auctions and work its way up. But unlike bid cap, it's not confined, it's not a hard cap. So like target cost, and I know there's a lot of terminology going on here. So like target cost cap will go over that $30 if there's an ideal purchase there and if it means it's going to spend more of its budget. So again, you can kind of get that blended benefit of bid cap and target cost in cost cap. So cost cap, you get those really profitable purchases, especially early on in a campaign, and you get to spend a little more than you typically would with bid cap. Now the big difference though with cost cap and bid cap strategies like Tim Bird's bully method work really, really well, where you're setting your bid cap 2 to 3x your target CPA. Because with bid cap, you have a hard cap. And so you're not, if you have a $30 CPA, you might do a max bid of 90, a bid cap of 90. You're not going to pay $90 a purchase. You're going to start at the lowest. But with that, you're basically telling Facebook, hey, I'm willing to pay more for a customer, higher quality. You're going to get priority placement of the feed. You're going to dominate. You're going to basically push out the competition. Cost cap, you can't really do that because cost cap, you can go over the cap. So if you do like a bully there, you can blow a lot of money. So with cost cap, we found it's best to stay kind of plus or minus 10-15% of your target CPA. So typically with cost cap, if we have a $30 CPA, we'll set up multiple ad sets. We might do a 20, a 2250, a 25, 2750, 30, 3250, 35, 3750, 40, and kind of test all of those ranges around the CPA of 30. And we've seen a lot of success with just like a $30 cost cap on a lot of physical products of getting us really great ROAS early on in a campaign. If you don't spend your full budget, which can happen with cost cap, it's one of the biggest drawbacks of it. Any cap, bid cap and cost cap, you might be getting great results, but it's like, hey, I've only spent $100 today and my budget's $1,000. If you start to encounter that, what we've done is we've either kind of gradually increased the cap, so we move it up a little bit, or we do a complete refresh. So we'll relaunch that ad set with maybe some new creative, and then we kind of rejuvenate it and get more volume again. And so we typically saw that happen with a lot of affiliate offers in the holidays, where cost cap would kill it for like 3 to 5 days. We'd get insane ROAS, and then it would stop spending. We would just duplicate it, put in some fresh creative with the same cost cap, and it would run for another 3 to 5 days. And so it's a little more hands-on, but you get a lot more profitable ad sets and a lot more consistency there. So again, I think it's really, really important, especially when you get into the optimization and scaling phase of your media buying, that you take control of the bid and don't just rely on auto bid. So again, I highly recommend checking out manual bids. We recommend cost cap bidding. Hope you enjoy this tip. See you guys tomorrow for tip number 9.